You never say the sentence, "Oh, I thought this was a party."
Yeah, there's no way that you can say that it's not insulting, right? Welcome to another episode of Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet. I'm Kristie.
And I'm Josh.
We've got some Reddit stories to read for you today, so let's jump right into the first one.
Am I the asshole for not letting my neighbor's kid ruin my lawn in the name of imagination?
Not the asshole. Get off my lawn. I'm apparently a grumpy old grandpa. Get off my lawn!
I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood with your standard backyard, some grass, a few old trees, a weathered shed. Nothing fancy, but I try to keep it tidy. I'm on polite but not close terms with most neighbors. We wave, sometimes chat about the weather, and that's about it. There's a family 2 doors down with a boy who's maybe 9 or 10. Lately he's gone full pirate mode. I mean fully committed. Eye patch, cardboard sword, yelling, "Ye be cursed" at squirrels. Honestly, pretty wholesome. At first. Then I started noticing small holes in my yard. Just little ones near the fence. I assumed it was raccoons, but then the holes got bigger. One morning I went out and found the ground behind my shed completely torn up, with clumps of grass tossed around and a map pinned to the tree with a stick.
Not okay.
Eventually I caught him out there mid-dig. I asked him what he was doing, and he straight up said, "I'm hiding my treasure, no one must know. This is the perfect hiding spot." I told him calmly, "Hey, this is my yard. You can't dig here." He got a little huffy, but ran off. I figured that was the end of it. Nope. Next day, there's a new hole. Bigger. A tin lunchbox half buried behind the shed. I dig it up. It's full of Pokemon cards, fake jewels, toy coins, and a few crumpled $5 bills.
I would have taken that treasure. Finders keepers, you should have buried it better. Teach that kid a lesson.
'Tis the pirate way. I bring it to his mom and explain what's going on.
He's too nice.
She immediately gets defensive. No apology. Just a heavy sigh and a, "Well, he's just using his imagination. I think it's sweet." I told her I didn't mind the creativity, just not in my yard. She rolled her eyes and said, "Can't you just let him have this? It's not like your grass is that nice anyway."
Rude.
That one actually stunned me. I said as politely as possible that I didn't want holes being dug on my property by someone else's kid. I handed over the box and left. That night, she sends a long text telling me I humiliated her son, crushed his imagination, and created an environment where children can't feel safe being children. She said he cried for over an hour and now thinks I'm the villain in his story.
I would lean into that and start being like, Captain Blackbeard or something. I would go full pirate with him, but be like, "Get off my lawn!" and be his villain.
That makes it fun to be on your lawn.
That's true. Maybe, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't do that. I want that kid off my lawn.
Those are the mom's words, the villain in his story, by the way.
Okay.
I didn't reply. I get it. He's a kid. I didn't yell, I didn't shame him, and I even gave the stuff back. But I'm not thrilled about my yard being turned into a sandbox and getting insulted for not being okay with it. So, am I the asshole for drawing a line and not entertaining a pirate storyline that involved my yard getting wrecked?
Not the asshole. That kid can have imagination on his own lawn. What's wrong with his yard?
It's not the perfect spot to bury the treasure.
His mom needs to be parenting him and telling him that it's not okay to go on other people's lawns and yards and cause property destruction.
That is true, yes. Maybe be a pirate within your own yard.
Yeah.
As unpirate as that is.
True, yes. Yeah, I don't think he's the asshole at all. I would be really mad if a kid was digging up my lawn. So, that is a cute a little imagination thing he's got going on there. But yeah, don't do it in my property. Plus, if the kid gets like injured on his property, isn't he liable for that? So that's like a issue too.
Yeah, I guess in today's society, yeah, that is a problem.
The mom is going to sue him because he dug under the shed and then the shed fell on him.
Right.
Keep that kid off your lawn.
Yeah, there's no reason for the kid to be destroying your grass, even if your grass is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Also, insulting a man's grass.
Yeah, that's hurtful.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for telling my new coworker it was misleading of him to be wearing his wedding band when he's a widower?
Yes. That sounds like a very asshole thing to say.
Hi, a couple weeks ago we had a new employee hired at the company. He's a good guy and a widower named James, 36. And to my knowledge, his late wife passed away 8 months ago.
That's recent.
Yeah, right? Me, female 32, and the other coworkers got along well with him. However, I noticed that he's still wearing his wedding band on his finger. It kind of confused me a bit, and I couldn't help but bring it up with him while on lunch break. We talked, and I pointed out that he was being misleading by still wearing his wedding band when he's a widower. He looked quite bothered by what I said, but I tried to explain that I think that he was giving people the wrong idea or impression about his relationship status since he's technically single and on his own right now.
What do you mean technically single? Like he can be married to her still. He never stopped being married to her.
I don't want to sound cruel, but I'm speaking from technical angle. James said that he didn't give it much thought, meaning he doesn't care what people think, and that even if he wasn't wearing his wedding band and some woman approached him, he'd still turn them down since he's obviously not interested. For some reason, things got awkward and everyone stopped eating and just stared at James and me. I told him I don't know, but that really felt generally misleading of him, as in making people think that he's in a relationship, married, when he is not, regardless of how he felt about being in a relationship.
You're allowed to just wear rings. Like, it doesn't...
He got up... Sorry.
No, sorry, I'm getting mad. I don't know what to say other than being like, stop telling this poor widower how to mourn.
He got upset, called me rude, and said that I repeatedly disrespected his marriage and his late wife's memory with what I said, then took his stuff and walked away. My coworkers said regardless of who is right or wrong, though some said he overreacted, there was no reason for me to bring this up in the first place and cause a scene and make James upset with us like that. Now he's not speaking to me and others who sided with me. Am I the asshole? Did I overstep or did he overreact? This was just a conversation we were casually having with the other coworkers, and I didn't use any insensitive tones or anything, but we had a discussion and it suddenly turned into an argument. I tried to let things calm down, but the situation got out of my hands unexpectedly.
What discussion were you having where it was okay for you to be like, you're single, your wife's dead. Get over it.
I think it is super common for people who have lost a spouse to keep wearing their wedding ring.
Absolutely.
I was like, this is a very common thing. I don't know why she's so upset about it. Actually, I do know why she's so upset about it. I think she has a crush on James and wants him to get over his dead wife so she can date him. And she's upset he's not, dropping it.
It is very like, I am currently looking logic to be like, you're single, you're on the market. He's not on the market.
Yeah.
It's almost, depending on how long you're married, it's like disrespectful to take off your ring too early.
Right? I agree. I think she's being extremely disrespectful of his deceased wife, and like, let him mourn how he wants to. He's obviously not over his dead wife. It's only been 8 months.
8 months is not that long.
He's allowed to wear his ring as long as he wants. What if he never wants to get married again? He can wear that ring for the rest of his life.
Absolutely. I don't think they said how long they were married before she passed.
They didn't.
But like, if it was 10, 20 years, like, I would expect him to wear that ring for like a year. Or it's not bad if he takes it off early. It's his choice, though. We
just had our 9-year anniversary, and I just want to let you know that I expect you to wait a year before you start dating again, okay?
You're dead. Your opinion doesn't matter.
Oh.
No.
I'm just saying, I'd be a little hurt if, like, I'm reading Reddit stories of men that are like, my wife's been dead for 3 months, I'm dating again, and that makes me upset.
Uh-huh.
Please don't do that to me, even though I'm dead.
I don't think I will, no. I was so bad at dating. I plan to die first.
Okay, good. Well, wait, no, I don't want to be left alone. Who will take care of me?
Uh-huh.
Maybe we should just die in a fiery car crash.
I was just going to say
80s.
that. We'll just have to go out together in some sort of fiery explosion. We're keeping it light today, Internet. But yeah, you're the asshole for going like that, Adam.
Yeah, she's really insensitive.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why she's single. It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. What did Reddit think?
Top comment. You're the asshole. A wedding ring isn't a sign to others that you aren't available. It's a commitment to a person you love. His wife might be dead, but if he's not ready to move on, then he's still committed to her. Your confusion about his status isn't his concern. You're the asshole. I couldn't help but bring it up. Yes, you could. Just stop talking. Help it next time.
Right?
For some reason, things got awkward. The reason is that you're an asshole and he doesn't ever want to speak to you again. You're the asshole. He's not going to fuck you. Like, yeah, if she had hopes of getting with this guy, which I kind of feel like she did, she totally killed any of her chances by being such an asshole about his dead wife.
Don't shit where you eat. Don't go dating your coworkers. It's just bad. Just let them figure out their own relationship stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the asshole for not letting a dog we adopted visit the family that abandoned him?
No, not the asshole. They gave him up and they have no rights to that dog anymore.
My then boyfriend, let's call him Bob, and his ex-girlfriend, Tina, from 10 plus years ago shared a dog. They split up when the dog was just a few years old, and since she was living in a house at the time, she kept the dog. A couple of months into meeting my boyfriend, Tina abandoned this dog that they shared on his doorstep. This dog was now 16, with such horrible teeth that he couldn't eat regular food anymore. He was lethargic and sickly. I had never had a dog, but I fell in love with this sweet old man. I made him homemade soft foods that he could eat. I helped my boyfriend run him to the vet and get his teeth pulled, and with the recovery afterwards. He also had an injured leg, and we had to take him to rehab. I ended up paying for parts of the treatment just because I was the one taking him. Literally, in a few months, he was a completely different animal. He was happy and playful and assertive, complete 180. Since my boyfriend was gone most of the day for work, and I worked from home, he spent a lot of time at my place. Tina and Bob had kept in touch all this time after breaking up. Tina was Bob's first real relationship, and in many ways, it seemed he had never fully gotten over that relationship. Tina, on the other hand, had moved on and had a kid with another guy, who she was living with. This was not a red flag that I ignored. It was something that I put my foot down about multiple times. Tina was manipulative, playing on Bob's sympathies, and always trying to get money or some kind of help out of him. A few months after abandoning the dog, she came back around saying that her little boy missed the dog, and she wanted to take him back for visits. I put my foot down. I said she is more than welcome to bring her little boy over whenever he wanted to play with the dog at my boyfriend's house, but she wasn't going to just come pick him up whenever she wanted and take him back to a home where he was mistreated.
Yes, I like that, because he was mistreated. He should have had his teeth taken care of, and like his injured leg and stuff. He was in bad shape when they got him, and they don't deserve to get him back because they didn't treat that dog good.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't like how they treated their dog.
Yeah, now that the dog is healthy.
I don't trust this dog I love now with these people who mistreated him.
Uh-huh. It takes a certain type of person to ditch a dog you've had for 10 years.
More than that.
More than that.
He's a 16-year-old dog.
They've had him for like 16 years or something, yeah. My boyfriend said I was being unreasonable, and I basically gave him an ultimatum that if he did this, I would not be there to support this decision. Ultimately, he presented her with the decision that the little boy could come over, but we weren't sending the dog. She went apeshit and sent him 100 text messages about how he was letting some girl he had just met come in between them.
I hate this lady.
And the next morning, she woke up her son to tell him, Bob won't let you see the dog anymore, and then took a video of him crying to my boyfriend.
Okay, Tina is super manipulative and an asshole. Don't use your kids like that.
My boyfriend kept resolute, but feels awful. I feel bad for the little boy too, but I felt in my bones that this was just another manipulation tactic to keep my boyfriend in her life. So, am I the asshole for not agreeing to send the dog back for visits with the family who abandoned him?
Not the asshole. In fact, I think you were too nice, being like, you can bring your little boy over to visit him whenever you want, because that's putting your boyfriend and Tina back together again.
Absolutely.
And that's not a smart idea. Tina's already got too much control over your boyfriend, and in fact, I say ditch the whole boyfriend because he's still stuck on Tina, and Tina, I don't want to have to deal with her the rest of my life.
Uh-huh.
Oh, she's a terrible person. I hate her.
The first sentence of this is my then boyfriend. So it sounded like they're broken up, but then at the end of the story, she's talking like they're still together, so I couldn't quite tell where
Is there an update?
No, I'm not seeing anything that, no update. Okay, I think that just at the beginning of the story, she just typed weird.
Okay.
I think that they are still together.
Okay. Well, she did give him an ultimatum, and he caved to it and was like, fine, won't give the dog back, so...
That's good.
They're probably still together.
But yeah, don't send the dog back to an abusive house that might just decide to keep him.
Yeah. Also, make sure he doesn't have a microchip that's registered to Tina so she can't get him back. Microchip that dog so they can't... in your name so they can't steal him.
Uh-huh. Reddit agrees, not the asshole. Reddit is always on the dog side.
Yes, as it should be.
Uh-huh. Top comment, not the asshole. Dump Bob and live happily ever after with your dog. Don't let him take the dog back, and don't talk with your ex-girlfriend that much. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's definitely she's trying to keep you on the back burner. Have some self-dignity, man.
Agreed. Hey, if you've made it this far into the video, we would love it if you could do us a favor and give us a follow so that we can keep making fun episodes like this. Thanks!
Yeah, we really appreciate your support.
Am I the asshole for expecting tequila and margaritas?
I mean, if you ordered a margarita at a restaurant and it came with like vodka or something, I'd be like, this is not a margarita. If you're at a friend's house and they give you something close to a margarita, maybe you shouldn't complain about it. Let's find out. I want to hear the story.
My 35 male, wife 33 female got invited to a party at her coworker's house. I reluctantly went because the only person I would know was my wife. This is a relatively new job for her, and she wanted to be able to meet and mingle with her coworkers outside of work. Her understanding of it all was we didn't need to bring anything but ourselves. We show up, and it seems like a lively party. Pool with the bar area, music playing, they had a margarita machine and a ton of food. My wife got to talking, so I excused myself to grab a drink. The margarita machine was calling my name, so I filled my cup and grabbed my wife a margarita. I went back to my wife, started drinking, and realized that there wasn't any tequila in it. That's when I noticed no alcohol being around.
Okay, so it's a dry work party?
Sounds like.
That's kind of normal.
The host was tending to the machine, and I asked if there was any tequila. She looked at me confused and then says there's no tequila. I said, "Oh, I thought this was a party."
I thought this was a party!
She takes offense at that and says, "It is, just a dry one." I awkwardly left it at that. I poured out my drink and grabbed some water. Host asks if there was something wrong with it. I said I wasn't interested in drinking straight sugar.
Not interested in drinking straight sugar, but if there's tequila in that sugar. Heck
Then
yes.
it's good.
Yeah.
I walked back to my wife, kept to myself, and ate some food for the few hours we were there. It made it back to my wife that I was an asshole to the host. Caused a minor argument between us. Was I, though?
Yeah, you were the asshole. What? For starters, it's impressive to have a margarita machine if you don't drink. Although, maybe they drink it, it was just a dry work party.
Yeah, I don't feel like getting drunk with your coworkers
Your
is
new coworkers?
maybe not necessarily good.
No, it's your new coworkers. The smart move here is for you and your spouse to have like one drink. And that's taken out of the equation. You don't need to worry about getting drunk and embarrassing yourself because it's a dry party. You get to just sip a soda or a drink margarita without alcohol in it. Also, as someone who really cannot drink tequila anymore after college, I fully support not having tequila in margaritas.
I don't like tequila, so I'm fully down with that too. Like, one of your friends has a margarita machine, and I'm always like, can we make virgin margaritas? Because I don't want the alcohol. It tastes yucky.
But yeah, no, you don't, you never say the sentence, "Oh, I thought this was a party." I don't know how else you say it. How do you say that in a polite way? Because the only way I can think is angry person be like, "I thought you guys were cool."
Yeah, there's no way that you can say that it's not insulting, right? He sounds like a total frat boy.
Right.
And like, I think he was gonna get wasted and embarrass his wife in front of her new coworkers.
Yeah, that margarita machine was calling my name.
Is he an alcoholic? Because he really wanted alcohol.
He really did. He wanted tequila of all things, and tequila never ends well. Bit of an asshole.
Also, like, pouring it out in front of, like, I don't want this sugar, that's a waste of a margarita, a virgin margarita. That, and in front of the host is extremely rude.
Uh-huh.
Should have just taken it to his wife and been like, "Here, you drink this."
Now, I think there are non-alcoholic things that taste like you can get like a tequila flavoring.
Mm-hmm.
Which I wonder if that would be more of a make the margarita taste better. Instead of just the sugary mix, you mix in like some sort of non-alcoholic tequila substitute.
Maybe, but then he would have been drinking it and been really upset that he wasn't getting drunk.
What does Reddit think?
You're the asshole. Would you not have been drinking straight sugar if there was tequila in it? You insulted the host twice in a very brief interaction because you couldn't drink alcohol. You just embarrassed the shit out of your wife.
Right. I'm glad Reddit also pointed out that you're just drinking straight sugar with alcohol in it.
Mm-hmm. He couldn't even pretend to be tactful. His poor wife.
Yeah, you gotta be a little on your best behavior when you're going to a work party. Especially when it's your spouse's work party.
Yeah.
Like, be polite.
Anyways, yes, you're the asshole. You're a terrible person, and I feel bad for your wife.
Am I the asshole for celebrating my birthday without my friends after they rescheduled around babysitters again?
Not the asshole. It's It's your birthday, you set the time, not your friends.
I've, 26 female, been part of this friend group since college. We're close and consistently hang out and have friend game nights. The kicker? I'm the only person in the group without kids. Everyone else is busy raising toddlers and infants.
I'm impressed they all still manage to coordinate and get together.
Well, it sounds like maybe they don't.
Yeah.
While it seems fair that they've been putting on more and more adults-only events, fancy dinners, wine tastings, and events, great, right? No. The adults-only events are literally during times that I'm working my restaurant shifts, evenings and weekends, because those are the times their babysitters are available. I've expressed multiple times that it would be great to have daytime events or meet during the week to do things since my schedule is very flexible during the day. They always say, oh, we'll try that for the next time, but it never happens.
Okay, I think she's already a little bit of an asshole because most people work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. She's the one with the very unusual schedule. Like, she's only available during the day. Everybody else is working.
Yeah.
What she thinks
it's a little weird.
Her whole group of friends is just going to skip work to hang out with her.
Well, we don't know what their jobs are.
I don't know. Generally, you think people who have kids have settled down to 9 to 5 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
Last month was the last straw. My birthday fell on a Sunday, and I asked them if we could do a celebration during the day, since I was working that night, and they agreed. Then the day before my celebration, the group chat exploded that they were actually now changing it to evening because Sarah's babysitter canceled but can do 7 p.m. instead.
Okay, that is insane.
Yeah, rescheduling someone's birthday?
Yeah.
It's just Sarah can't come.
That's insane. It's her birthday, but she can't come, so we're just going to have her party without her.
I was so done at this point. I made my own plans for my birthday with my coworkers who were able to show up and post pictures on social media, having the best time at brunch and escaping an escape room.
That sounds fun.
Now my original friend group is hurt that I didn't even tell them we were changing the plans. They are now calling me petty and that I should understand that finding childcare is hard, but I'm over being the only one who is expected to accommodate everyone else 100% of the time. But I think my job counts as an adult responsibility too, and I shouldn't have to miss my own birthday for their babysitter problems. Am I the asshole here?
Not the asshole. I do think she's a little bit the asshole for expecting all of her friends to stick to her schedule only for all the other times, you know? But on your birthday, it's your birthday. You get to set the time. If Sarah can't make it because her babysitter canceled, too bad. Sarah's not coming. What is with the canceling for Sarah? Is Sarah the most important person in the group?
Sarah's the linchpin, apparently.
Yeah. So I don't think she's the asshole for changing her birthday. Or, guess not changing her birthday and sticking with the original plan and just doing it with different people. But it does just sound like her and her friend group are no longer compatible.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Right, because they all have families they need to look after and she doesn't. And she's just... neither of them are understanding of the other person's, you know.
You're definitely not the asshole in this scenario. I do wonder, is she working every single weekend? Never taking a weekend off? Usually you try to get, at least one day off every couple weekends or something.
Yeah, but I don't know, Sunday, she wanted to do it Sunday brunch. And that seems like a time most people should be able to be available.
Oh, one person in the comments brought up a good point about not being available on Sunday for brunch.
Mm-hmm.
Are all your friends single mums? Why can't the dads mind the children?
Good point. Well, maybe she's friends with the moms and the dads, but still, if Sarah can't get a babysitter, make one of them stay home. Her or her husband stay home with the kids. That is a very good point.
Yeah, it doesn't say it's an only female friend group, but still. Mm-hmm. Sarah's husband could watch them, or somebody else's husband could watch 2 kids. It's not that hard.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
Yeah, if you're going to Sunday brunch, it's not that weird to be like, hey, hubby, watch the kid for a day.
Yeah, it's his kid too. Make him watch it.
Uh-huh.
You shouldn't have to make him watch it. He should be doing half the watching.
Alright, and then I'll just read the top comment real quick. Not the asshole. If Sarah's babysitter canceled, that means Sarah has to miss the event. It doesn't mean your birthday gets rescheduled around Sarah's needs. However, your friends have made it clear that their bond of motherhood is a priority, and you aren't in that club. So I'd suggest just making friends with normal people who don't get knocked up young instead. Oh, I didn't read this beforehand. That's mean.
That is mean. But they are 23?
26.
Oh, okay.
It's not that young.
That's not that young, but...
Because she even said they're all infants and toddlers, so, like,
Yeah.
that's a normal age to start having kids.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest I agree with. Like,
Yeah.
if Sarah can't make it, Sarah can't make it. Don't reschedule somebody else's birthday.
To a time that the birthday girl can't make it.
Especially that, yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe just at all, don't reschedule someone else's birthday.
That's rude. Am I the asshole for breaking off my engagement because my fiancé made an offensive joke about me to his friends?
No. An offensive joke about you is a very valid reason to break off an engagement.
I, 28 female, and my fiancé, 32 male, have been together for 5 years. For the sake of anonymity, I'll be referring to him as John. John and I have had a wonderful and loving relationship for these past 5 years, and I truly saw myself with him for the rest of my life. We've had our ups and downs, but not once has John ever made me feel like I wasn't enough. He supported me in all of my endeavors and dreams, and our relationship even survived 9 months of being long distance, as I'd been sent to another state for work in 2021. I truly love John, and even now I still love him, but I have my doubts now about how he feels about me. A little context. I grew up fat, and had been fat when we met, and for the first 3 years of our relationship, I was fat. This wasn't a problem and never has been in our relationship, but it was something that I had a problem with about myself. I wanted to be healthier and to simply lose the weight because I knew it would make me happier. John was supportive of this. He said he'd love me no matter what form I took because it was my heart and soul he'd fallen for. I had believed that, as I had no reason not to. John has always made me feel that he loves me and made me feel desired. But now I've lost half of what I weighed before, and at my age and due to being overweight my entire life, I have plenty of loose skin. I am absolutely insecure about this, and John knows it. He's made every effort to reassure me that he still finds me beautiful and that he looks at my body as the evidence of how hard I've worked and how far I've come. He reassures me that he still loves being intimate with me and loves my body, even as it's changed. I felt so lucky to have a man who loved me so unconditionally and truly. Recently, John and I had gone out with a bunch of our friends as we'd not been able to align our schedules until now. Whenever we go out with a big group like this, John and I usually spend the beginning of the evening and the end of the evening together at the party. At some point in the middle, we always split off to go socialize with our friends separately. When it came time that I went to rejoin John, I had seen him with his best friend and a couple of others engaged in conversation. John's back was to me, and his friends were all chuckling about something as I approached. But I stopped dead in my tracks when I heard John tell his best friend that my body looked like a deflated weather balloon, and that it was hard for him to not laugh when we were intimate and my body moved.
Damn, John.
I had never expected the man who spoke so warmly and lovingly to me always to talk about me in such a way. John was the man I was going to spend the rest of my life with. He'd known my insecurities and still loved me anyway. At least, so I thought. Needless to say, I was hurt and angry and devastated. I walked up to him, handed him his ring without a word, and left. I didn't even go to our home. I went to a hotel and stayed there. I turned off my phone and just took a couple of days to just cry out my heartache. When I turned my phone back on, there were messages and voicemails from John and our friends. Most of John's messages were apologetic and begging me to talk and come home. But then the most recent were the opposite. He said I was cruel and cold for ignoring him and breaking off the engagement without warning, or so much as an explanation.
He didn't get any context clues from the fact that he was making that joke and then she walked up and handed him a ring?
Yeah, like, what explanation does he think he needs? When I responded to him and told him I'd heard what he'd said, John told me that I was acting like a child because I took his joke too seriously. That he was just trying to make his friend laugh. I asked him why he needed to make his friend laugh at my expense by telling him about my body and how it looked to him, or how he struggled not to laugh at me when we were intimate. He didn't respond.
That's a very... I wasn't sure how offensive the joke... That was a very offensive joke.
Right?
Like...
I'm not sure if there's a worse joke he could have made.
I'm not sure. No, he's describing her what she looks like naked to his friends.
And laughing about it.
Uh-huh.
Instead, as I'm writing this, I'm still receiving messages from our friends telling me that he's sorry and that I should see how miserable he is without me. That I'm so cold and a bitch for running off like that instead of giving John a chance to explain himself.
Okay, you need to drop that hour from in front of friends, because those are John's friends.
Right? How is John going to explain this away?
Yeah.
What could he possibly say to make this better? I don't even think that nothing.
Nothing. No, that was a pretty bad joke to be making. Your friends calling you a bitch means they're not your friend.
Do the friends know the joke that John made? It might be embarrassing for her to tell them, but I would out John as the terrible person he is.
I just assumed that they were all standing in a little huddle next to John laughing.
Some of them were, but maybe not all of the ones that are texting her. I'm hurt. I genuinely don't know if I was too rash in breaking off our engagement, but the only thought in my head, and what is still sticking with me now, is that when I was fat, people mocked me because of my body all the time. I lost the weight only to still have people mock me because of my body. And it just so happened to be the one person I allow to see me at my most vulnerable who showed me that. I know John's hurting, or at least seems to be, but so am I. Should I have heard him out? 5 years, and I didn't even give him a chance to explain or to really apologize. I just shut him out immediately. I still love the man. Those feelings don't go away overnight, but I don't want to hear his apology. I don't want his explanation. I'm just angry and hurt, and my friends seem to think I'm throwing away my relationship over something easily fixable.
I don't know if it's easy to fix the opinion he has of you when you're intimate with him. Like, that's such an insulting thing. And I don't know how you rebound from such a comment, right?
Right. She will never unhear that. Every time she looks at him, she's gonna think, he thinks I look like a deflated weather balloon, and he's laughing at me.
John knows that this is something that she is very sensitive about. Like, that's the most hurtful thing he could have said, it sounds like.
I would be mad, first of all, that he's sharing details about our intimate time with his friends. Like, keep that personal. And then to be mocking you is doubly bad.
Yeah, it's doubly bad because he's sharing Yeah, he's not just talking about you being intimate together. He's saying that he doesn't like it. No, there's nothing. Why does John even want her back?
Right?
He just needs to fit in with his bros.
Yeah, I feel like if you really love someone, you never try to humiliate them in front of people.
John is immature.
Mm-hmm.
John is more worried about making his friends laugh than he is about maintaining a relationship.
Okay, there is an update. Firstly, thank you. All of you. Every one of you who offered solid advice or even just gave kind words. It's meant the world to me. Second, I have left John. I don't intend to go back or try to fix things when it's not my responsibility to do so in the first place. And it's not something that can be fixed anyhow. A lot of you said it would be hard to forget that he said that, and you're all right. I saw him once just to move my things out with the help of my brother, truly my hero in all of this, and despite the apologies and begging for me not to go, all I could hear was his joke and the way he laughed when he said it. It was like it was all I would ever hear from his mouth, no matter what he actually said. I told him that if he actually loved me, he would have never treated me like a joke. And that was the last thing I said to him. He's tried calling, but I've blocked his number. I'm staying with my brother, and John's been smart enough not to come by because my brother told him that if he walked onto his property, the only way he'd be leaving is in cuffs or a bag. John seemed intimidated by that, thankfully, so I feel safe here. Brother is awesome.
Yeah, John isn't, I assume that if John is talking about his fiance behind her back, he's not much of a fighter.
Good point. Going forward, I know I'll be okay. I'm going to take time to focus on myself, move, and work towards my own goals. I think it will be a good way to let go of this relationship and what could have been by reminding myself of who I am outside of it. Thank you again.
Good for her.
I'm very proud of her for leaving him, because it is hard to leave a 5-year relationship where you're like planning a future together. They're engaged, planning a wedding. That is hard to leave, but she definitely needed to get out of there.
I don't know how you get over something like a statement like that. Like, and still maintain a relationship with that person.
I don't think you do, but yeah, so...
She would never want to be intimate with him again.
No, never, yeah. Anyways, I'm real proud of her, though. So, and way to go losing half of her body weight. That's hard.
That's impressive. Good for her.
And yeah, she can do better. She is a very motivated queen. She can do better without dumb John.
Exactly. Am I the asshole for refusing to split the cost of a rental car and then getting cut out of the trip I planned?
Getting cut out of the trip you planned is very hurtful.
Yeah, right? About a week ago, my brother's friend, let's call him Adam, mentioned he was going on a business trip to a big city, Metroville. He made it clear it wasn't a vacation, and he said he didn't want anyone tagging along. I've never been the type... You just tag along?
Like, Inviting yourself on other people's trips is so weird to me.
Yeah.
I think I'm just so worried about being an inconvenience to anyone that I would never do that.
Yeah, maybe we don't lack the type of self-confidence you need to invite yourself along on someone's trip.
I think we lack the entitlement needed to do that, which is a good thing.
You worded it nicer. On New Year's, I went to Metroville with some friends. My brother Eli couldn't come because of work, though I encouraged him to take a break. Later, I noticed he seemed interested in the city when Adam brought it up again, so I decided to plan another trip, this time including Eli. He was excited, took time off, and asked if he could bring a couple friends. I agreed, and we started planning. I was going to drive us in my car. We had dates and hotels set. Adam wasn't part of the plan at all. Out of nowhere, Eli's other friend, Marcus, told me that Adam was coming and needed a ride.
But Adam was already going for work, and he's doing work and doesn't want other people there because he's working.
Right.
Why does he need a ride if he was already planning on going there himself? He should have had transportation planned. I'm so confused.
My car didn't have space, and instead of splitting rides, they suggested we rent a larger car and split the cost. About $1,000 for 5 days. Just to make room for Adam, who wasn't even vacationing with us.
What kind of car are they getting that's $1,000 for 5 days? Usually it's like $50 tops.
It's a big car. At $50 tops, what kind of car are you renting?
When I rented a car when my car broke down, it was $50.
Insurance paid a lot of that.
No, insurance paid 35 of it, and I paid 15.
Is that all it was?
Well, that was a few years ago, but...
I swear, it depends. Maybe it depends on where you're taking it.
But what kind of car are they getting that's $200 a day? That seems excessive.
Probably like a big SUV because they have to fit like
Maybe...
his car can't fit it. So there's 4 to 5 guys. There's
at least 6 guys.
Yeah,
right?
there's like 5 or 6 guys that can't fit in his car, so they need a big like a van or something.
Okay, $1,000 for 5 days seems excessive.
I think that's part of his problem with it.
Okay.
I said no. I didn't think it was fair to take on that extra cost just to accommodate someone who wasn't even part of our group. I made that clear. The next day, I found out there was a group chat I wasn't even in. Then Marcus messaged me, calling me immature, and Eli texted me seconds later asking if I was okay with not going. So I didn't back out. I got pushed out of the trip I planned.
That's rude of everybody involved.
I'm pretty upset, especially since my own brother was part of it. I didn't make it about money or control. I just didn't want to foot the bill for someone else's business trip. Am I the asshole for refusing to split the rental and then getting excluded from the trip I organized?
Not the asshole. If What's-His-Face was already going on a business trip, shouldn't his company be paying for his travel costs to get there?
You'd think so.
So is he just having his company pay for the rental car and is pocketing the money his friends are giving him?
It's possible.
Something seems shady here.
Yeah, it seems weird to, you're going for business and you're gonna cram into a car with 5 other sweaty guys.
Something weird is going on with Adam. I do not know what.
Yeah.
But something is weird. He was all, I'm on a business trip. No, nobody come with me. I'm all business. And suddenly he's like, dude, let me crash your trip. And you guys all got to pay $200 for me to come.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Drop Adam off at his own separate hotel so that he can go do business things and then they just pick him back up later? Like,
that's
it's
so
it's such an inconvenience.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely should have some sort of travel expenses from his business. That's actually one of the top comments is, not the asshole. If Adam is going on a business trip, why isn't his business covering his costs, including the car rental? And then a reply to that is like, Adam will, I bet they are. Adam will book it and submit the receipt to the company. Company will pay XYZ amount towards it, and then he will have friends split the costs, aka he pays nothing and pockets the difference. Other people share your suspicion.
Yeah, something as shady is going on with Adam. I do not like him. Also, if OP planned the whole trip, did he, like, book the hotels? Because I'd be canceling those.
Yeah, right? They're on it. Yeah, if things are on your credit card, don't let it be on your credit card anymore.
You ousted me out of this trip, so find your own accommodations and stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Eli kind of turned it into a trip for his friends when he started inviting his friends.
Yeah.
Could have been a fun brothers trip.
Uh-huh.
And then Eli started inviting friends, and then Adam muscled in, and now you're out. And that sucks.
Yeah. I feel bad for him. But Yet your brother sucks. And Adam's even worse. Not the asshole, I feel bad for him.
OP did reply to a similar comment. The only problem is I use some days of my paid time off for the trip. I guess I will figure something out, maybe go with my friends. I am just disappointed in my brother.
Well, I hope he goes with his friends and they check into the rooms that he used and his brother can't find a room in his SOL.
Well, they're all going to cram into Adam's room then.
Okay.
And then Adam will get exactly what he didn't want.
No, Adam will charge them all for the room that his company is paying for and then pocket that money. Feel like Adam is doing fraudy things to get money from everybody.
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange to just want to share. I don't know how long of a trip it is, but it's strange to want a car trip with all of your friends and then not do the fun part.
Am I the jerk for expecting full payment when the baby falls asleep while babysitting?
What? No? Like you're a babysitter and the baby slept through half the babysitting so they don't want to pay you the full amount? No. You get the full amount.
I, 19 female, babysit occasionally for a couple in my neighborhood. They're nice and the kid is sweet. It's usually an easy gig. Last weekend they asked me if I could watch their 2-year-old from 6 to 10 p.m. while they went to dinner with friends. I agreed on the usual rate and showed up at 6. By 6:20, the baby was already passed out in my arms after a bottle and a quick cuddle. I laid her in the crib and didn't hear a peep the rest of the night.
Sorry, how old did you say the kid was?
2.
They're 2?
Mm-hmm.
You usually still haven't getting bottle fed when you're 2?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay. I guess 2 just seems like old to be bottle feeding and cradling in your arms.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I guess I'm not going to judge that part.
We don't have kids, so it's hard to tell. I can't remember from when my niece and nephews were little. I think they were done by like 15 months, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
They were moved fully to solid foods, but I can't remember. They're not my kids. I laid her in her crib and didn't hear a peep for the rest of the night. Literally just sat on their couch, scrolling my phone for almost 4 hours. Checked the baby monitor a few times, and that was it. They came home around 9:45 and were surprised the baby had been asleep almost the whole time. Then the husband half-jokingly said, "Dang, maybe we should just pay you for the 20 minutes of work." And the wife laughed. I laughed too at first, thinking it was just a joke, but then they handed me cash for 1 hour and said, "Honestly, we feel weird paying full price when you didn't really do anything."
They don't seem to care about the fact that they'll never use this babysitter again.
Even though she's their regular babysitter.
You generally want to keep your babysitter very happy if you ever want to leave your house again as parents.
Right? I told them I still came over, they still had their night out, and part of babysitting is just being there in case the baby wakes up. They didn't budge and said that they'd make it up to me next time. But I left feeling kind of taken advantage of. I didn't argue further because I didn't want to cause a scene. When I vented to my sister, she said they were just being cheap and it was totally right to expect full pay. Am I the jerk for expecting full pay even when the baby was asleep almost the whole time?
No, you're not the jerk. That's insane. Don't babysit for these people anymore or charge or raise your rate for all future interactions. Like, you don't just decide to change a agreed upon rate in any business interaction.
Right? Like, she's still there. They're still taking up 4 hours of her time, even if she's not actively doing things with the baby.
Her primary job as the babysitter is to make sure the kid doesn't catch on fire.
Yes. And she did that for 4 hours.
For 4 hours, that kid did not combust, and that means she was a good babysitter.
Pay her for the full time she was there.
Yeah. The only way that you're allowed as a parent to renegotiate the rate is if you come home and the babysitter is like covered in pasta sauce or something and the kid is screaming and you're like, here's an extra 20. That's the only time you're allowed to change the rate you pay a babysitter.
One of the top comments, leaving a baby alone is literally illegal. One should be paid for their time monitoring the baby, asleep or awake.
Yep.
Hell no, you're paid to watch the baby, not for what the baby does.
If this kid has a history of being bad, tell him, yeah, I now have a mobile rate. My rate is now dependent on how awake this baby is. $10 an hour when they're sleeping, $40 when they're awake.
That seems fair.
It does. Seems fair to the parents, too.
Another comment, don't babysit for them again. This is a red flag. Also, stand your ground. And then someone replied to that, or do it again, and as soon as the baby sleeps, call them to come home immediately because you're not getting paid to watch a sleeping baby.
Yeah, right?
Even better, call them and say, hey, baby's asleep, so I'm gonna go. It's cool, right? It's not like the kid needs anything from me, right? It's not like I'm watching a sleeping kid is actually necessary. It's not work, right? So
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna head out, okay?
Yeah, it's insane to think that you can only rip off a babysitter once. Right?
Now, I did have someone try and pull something similar to this on me when I was babysitting as a teenager. And,
No.
I feel like my rates were low. I think I was charging $8 an hour,
Uh-huh.
which was more than minimum wage, but, compared to what I would pay a babysitter nowadays is very low. So,
I was gonna say, it's not even comparable, the ecosystem anymore.
Are you right? So, anyways, I was charging $8 an hour to watch her 2 kids for, an afternoon. And then she's like, well, something came up and we're going to take the older one with us. So it's only going to be the younger one, so $4 an hour. And I was like, no,
Yeah,
absolutely not.
4 is nothing.
That is well below minimum wage. I'm not working. My time is worth more than that.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'll maybe take $1 off. So $7 for my babysittings, $1 extra an hour per kid, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not working for halving the price because there's half the number of kids is not okay.
No.
And she seemed really surprised by that. And I was like, I'm not working for $4, lady.
It's just, yeah, adults sometimes think they can just, tell teenagers what the new rate is.
Yeah. Okay, that was my story.
Good for you for standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for this episode of Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet.
Give us a follow and check us out next week.
See you next time.